Welcome to Native Earthling Organization Networks. Well, I've been real busy here in the Studio HQ. We turned on this music so that you can hear me a little better. Alright, so basically what I'm doing right now is I've deployed a complete cloud network, and if you don't know what cloud computing is, just think of it as lightweight. In other words, what that means is you don't have to store things in your hard drive. You don't have to have the USB stick. You don't have to have the memory, the RAM inside your computer. It's all stored in the ethereal. In other words, it's neither here nor there. It's just metadata, or your top level like security keys to get into those accounts. They're all just kind of pinging back and forth on the satellites, and that's all your metadata. Or metadata, however you want to pronounce it. So that's basically what cloud computing is. You can make a virtual computer that way. You can have virtual private networks. It's all cloud computing. That's a new term, cloud, and isn't that catchy? I mean, it really is. Basically says what it is. So so I've networked everything via the Studio HQ. It's the Cosmo. It's my RV. And I have a Android smartphone, and I have several laptop computers and other devices such as the PSP Vita, the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and a couple other gadgets and gizmos. Even if you think that they're not useful, I can find a use for them. Definitely. I'm also programming robots. Check out this dude. Look familiar? How's he doing today? Are you with me today, buddy? You wanna stay up for the party?
Self-diagnostic initiated.
Yeah, you look a little tired.
I am Wowie Robotics model RSD2.
Well, hello.
Battery low, powering down.
Yeah, so he's powering down. You know, I've got all sorts of really cool gizmos and gadgets, and that's what I'm filming different instances of me using the different cross-platform capabilities. So what we have here, a nice pair of shades, and I'm actually filming me right now do this video cast. So it's got a little camera right here, and you can see everything that I'm doing. And so, you know, this is an educational experience as I am going to school, and as I'm competing and representing the USA in Microsoft's Imagine Cup. I'm able to show you exactly what I'm doing. You know, I never learned just by someone telling me how to do it. I always had to do it myself. And so so this is kind of my own learning logic, and I'm just gonna broadcast it as I am learning, and as I'm doing it, I'm showing you what I'm doing, and I'm doing it in a way that's a puzzle. It's a treasure hunt, because there's all sorts of goodies to find. This is your education. This is, you know, you're the greatest resource that this planet has, Native Earthling. And so let's get back to where we started this off. So I've networked my my Xbox and my PCs. I can get all the files that are on my PC right on my display. That's you know, in front of a couch, if you want to think of it. For me, it's this little LCD display that pops up over the top cabin in my RV. And anyways, I've got my PlayStation 3 and my Xbox hooked up to that thing, and so they're also tethered with my PCs. I can get all the files from my PCs wirelessly. And so through SkyDrive, if you don't know that app, that's a fantastic one. Just really figure that out. You've probably seen the logo by now. It's a little cloud. SkyDrive. Check that out. Neon Cloud is built upon the SkyDrive and Azure. So you'll find out more what those things mean too. And so if you hadn't heard of it, you've heard of it from me now. So, right. I was about to show you guys what we've got going on over here. We've got a little video. This is stored on SkyDrive. It's not on my hard drives. It's nowhere. It's just pinging between the satellites as just crunched data packets, minimalized, and then when I call for them, then they'll just show up on whatever device I want them to be. I could be running this off of my smartphone, my desktop PC, and my home entertainment centers simultaneously. And there's the Duncan. There's the old OA. That's Order of the Arrow. For those of you who don't know, it carries on into adulthood. You know, something really important. It's the World Organization of the Scout Movement, and in the United States, it's known as the Boy Scouts of America, also the Girl Scouts of America. And there is a Native American sector in the World Organization of the Scouts, and I am an honorary member of it. You should check out all the history of it. It's pretty cool stuff. 1996 is when I became I took part in the ceremony, and the ceremony it's hardcore. It was like 3 days, no food, no talking, no water. You got to wear this big heavy log around your neck, and you don't even know why. You know, I don't know if there's some type of clause you're not supposed to talk about that type of stuff. But it was, needless to say, it was very challenging, and I learned a lot from that disciplined experience. I slept out in a meadow by myself, no one around, no blankets, nothing, for 4 days. Really, really great character building experience. And I always have loved camping. I always have loved it. So, and I excelled in the Boy Scouts because, man, I love camping. I love climbing trees. I love learning how to tie knots. I love to learn what plants are what. When I was a boy, I had Smokey the Bear posters all over my room that had the different types of fungi that's found in the forests, and the different trees, whether it be the deciduous trees or the coniferous trees. In other words, the deciduous trees are the types of trees that the leaves fall off, like maple trees or something like that. And then a coniferous tree would be something that bears a cone, like a pine cone. So think about like a pine tree, an evergreen tree. Breaks it down pretty simple of what that is. I had those posters all over my room, all sorts of plants and different herbs that you can find and use for beneficial purposes. I was also in the Model United Nations when I was a boy, and I'm real proud to say that now I've actually established an official accredited United Nations organization. So I'm sure you've seen plenty of these little badges that I've got out and about all over the internet. So someone was blogging in that there was a little too much dead air on these broadcasts. But I'll tell you what, there's a method to madness. There's always a method to madness. You can always count on that. I'm doing it intentionally. A lot of the videos won't make sense, and if you've seen previous videos before you saw this video, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're privy to see this video before, then the other ones might make a little more sense. So, it's all interactive, and it's a learning experience. It's educational. This truly is the learning curve. You have to have user interaction. And so this is what it does, user interaction. So, there's going to be some dead air. There's going to be some dead space because it's all live. I'm coming up with all this stuff right on the fly, on the top of my head. And a lot of times as I'm making these broadcasts, I'm actually doing really important things. I'm really, really busy. Right now I've got a big long list. The Microsoft Imagine Cup, it's all coming to a head here. It's all so exciting. I've got so many letters in my inboxes and so many offers for employment and different opportunities, and join a team, become a mentor. you know, I'm a Microsoft faculty member and a partner, and you know, I'm building this on Azure and on Visual Studios. I'm making video games using XNA. I showed a couple samples of the games. If you're a member of the XNA community, big shout out to you. Go check out Tranquillo Agua. That means tranquil waters, and you should check out that game. It's pretty fun. I've got some samples of it on some of these videos, and some of it's just embedded little clippets of them. There's other ones that are like full feature explanations of them. And so that's due on the 23rd coming up. That's real exciting. You know, on the 23rd over in Silicon Valley, we've got this big conference. All the joint venture capitalists are going to check out what all of us in the developing community have been up to. And, you know, we're going to start turning this into real world applications. And so I've got the game, I've got the innovation project, I've got the Windows 8 app coming. Stay tuned for that. If you don't have Windows 8 yet, then the key element of advice here that I can give you is that you're going to be used to operating your menus by clicking on like the little tab up at the top that says File, right? Well, on Windows 8, you can kind of forget about that. You have these live tiles, and if you spin your cursor to the top right, or if you're on a tablet like the Surface, which is phenomenal by the way, if you're on a tablet or you're on a desktop, either way, you put your cursor up to the top right, and it's going to bring a little menu full of things like you want a magnifying glass. That means you're going to search for anything you want on your computer. You're going to be able to access the settings, the devices that are connected, things like that. But each time you're in that menu, it's specifically for that live tile that you're at. So in other words, it's just like whatever program or application, you're going to have the file at the top there previously. You click File, and then you'll be able to find out where to go and all that stuff, how to navigate. Well, with Windows 8, with these live tiles, you're always going to go up to the top right of the corner, and then it's going to drop down your menus. And so once you figure that part out, you'll totally fly through the computer experience. It's a real great product. There's been complaints because people can't find out what to do. They're like, well, how do I access the files? How do I find this on the computer? How do I get that? There's no start button anymore. Well, don't worry, it's all figured out. And once you get your hands on, you'll realize that it's the same user interface that you'll be using on your phones, on your tablets, and on your desktops. So it's all a convergence. And for those of you that know about that term, then big shout out to you. Cross-platform. It's all cross-platform. We've got cross-platforms on Xbox, on PlayStation. I'm personally an Xbox ambassador. So if you have any questions of how to do this stuff, hit me up. I'm a Soundwave, www, all caps, Soundwave, and then lowercase. Did I say www? Okay, it's live. I messed it up. Let's start this over. I'm an Xbox ambassador. And you can, if you have any questions, then you can send inquiries to me. And it is VVV, cap locks, Soundwave, lowercase, VVV. So aesthetically, it looks like a wave of sound. And when you see it for yourself, I'm sure you'll agree. So yeah, this is Neon Broadcasting. Thanks for tuning in. 14 minutes of it. Thanks a lot. It's worth your while. I'm sure you've learned a lot. And feel free to blog and add comments on this video, and interact with your community. Interact with your global community of planet Earth for 14 minutes and 22 seconds.